Hey guys, I'm Salvation, and today I want to talk a bit about Atlas of Worlds and the new league that came with Atlas of Worlds, that is the Essence League. In the background you will see an Atziri run on my Assassin Flame Blast Totem build that I did this league, or I am still playing it. And yeah, that's just for some visuals during the video while I talk about the league and Atlas of Worlds. If you're interested in the build, there will be a link in the video description where you can check out the gear and the skill tree. So let's talk about Atlas of Worlds. That is the big expansion that was rolled into the whole game, so it's also available in Standard League. So that was definitely a way for people to check out the new bosses really quick, and yeah, to learn the shaper mechanics and stuff like that. So I think that helped a lot in killing the shaper fast and figuring out the mechanics of all the guardians, and yeah, overall it made it a lot easier for the community to do this content. So what about the Atlas itself? It was announced from Chris Wilson that it would change the whole end game, and yeah, I have to say that this was not the case. I certainly really like the new tile sets. They are amazing, they look really good, but after all it's still mapping, and I have to say that I'm pretty happy about that. Mapping is good, mapping is in my opinion a good endgame, and it could need some more options, like Atziri, like the Uber Labyrinth, but I think the mapping system overall was quite good, and the addition of the Atlas did not change all that much, but it made it better, definitely made it better, as you can now see your progress and it's better visualized. That's I think that's especially important for players that get to maps for the first time. For them it will be really helpful and gives them some form of direction, and I think it's doing that very well, and I hope that they will add some form of end game in, like the labyrinth or Atziri, more bosses like that are not really gated behind the map system, but their own systems. Like for Atziri you need the fragments. I mean, the labyrinth is kinda gated behind maps because you need to get the offerings from map trials, but the offerings are cheap enough that you can also buy them and only farm the lab if you desire so. So that's a different form of endgame, and I will hope that they will expand on this diversity in endgame in coming expansions, but Atlas did not really provide any additional diversity. It just made finishing touches on the map system that was already there. So I think there were also problems with the Atlas, because at the moment I feel that if you're starting out in the Atlas, it feels okay at first, but progressing to higher maps has gotten worse. Once you have these maps unlocked, it feels okay again, and it's basically back to where it was. But when you're starting out at the start of the league and only have one side of the Atlas, and only gain maps from there, it does not feel all that great. So it definitely rewards buying the different maps from other people that are doing the other side of the atlas, or are doing the other side of the atlas yourself. And but the problem with doing it yourself is that you can only drop maps that you have already completed, or maps that are adjacent to the map you're currently running. So if you progressed on one side of the atlas to like tier 8 or tier 9, and then you want to up your bonus and run the other side, then you're doing like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 there, and you need the higher maps from that side. So but you already have completed the other side, so you can drop the other maps that you already have on this side. So that is certainly a problem, and I had some low tier maps that I did not complete and I never dropped them, and I had to buy them because when I ran a map that was adjacent to those maps, I only dropped other maps that I completed from the other side of the atlas. So it definitely gets a lot faster if you just buy the maps that you need, and that is a difference to how it was before. Before you could just buy any high tier map and that was okay, but now you need some specific maps, like the ones you did not complete already, to get your bonus up. So I feel like this would need some work. Maybe they could start out with a bit higher bonus, or up the drop rate of adjacent maps a bit, like that it's more likely to drop an adjacent map. Some little tweaks like that to make it a bit better to just play the atlas for yourself. I mean, it's not a problem for me to buy the maps that I need and see what maps I need to buy, but I think a lot of players that I'm not talking about self-found players, but a lot of players that don't have a problem buying gear still want to find their own maps. That at least I know a lot of players that would not buy maps during the last leagues, and now they all had to buy the maps to progress their atlas. So I think some little tweaks in that regard would be great. Apart from that, I think it's a good system. It's good that there is a new scary boss. It's a bit sad that they fucked up a bit and overbuffed the Pathfinder Blade Vortex combination, so that the new boss got immediately hard countered by a build, more or less. It's especially sad because there are other builds that can do that boss, and I think having this cookie cutter build that can do the Shaper that easy is a bit of a break for the creativity in the community, because like for Atsiri there were several leaks until she was on farm status for most players, like when the Incinerate build really took off. Righteous Fire incinerates, and there was. But I think that maybe there could be a budget Shaper version, budget Shaper farming build. Don't know how viable that is, because he certainly has also a really big amount of life, so there's that. So you would need to deal a lot of damage and tank a lot or evade. So yeah, curious to see what comes out of this. but I certainly think that it would be more interesting if there would be no build like the Blade Vortex Pathfinder that can just face tank him. And yeah, apart from that, I think it's great that we have this new big boss. So what about Essence League? I think Essence League is a great idea. I really like rare items in Path of Exile, and I think it was mentioned by other YouTubers and streamers that it's a bit sad that GGG was so conservative on the mods on the normal essences. The mods on some of the corrupted essences are great, but the normal essences feel a bit too normal. They should have like one really special effect on one kind, like these essence does a really cool mod on rings or something like that, and normal mods for the other items. I think I would prefer that. And apart from that, another part that I don't like about Essence is that there is no real way to really interact with the league. Like in Perandrus, you could do Perandrus farming runs like in Solaris and stuff like that. And in Prophecy you could spam prophecies and just complete the ones that were easy to complete and just get as many prophecies per hour as you could. And I think that was great and a good way to interact with the league mechanic, and that is missing in Essence. Because in Essence there is no special way to interact with the content. You just run, and you need to run maps. That's clear, because only maps can drop the good essences or the rare essences. So like Solaris farming is completely out, because it can't drop good essences at all. But yeah, overall I think it's a good league to have with together with a big update like Atlas of Worlds, because Atlas of Worlds already puts a big emphasis on maps, so that the league is just an addition, and I think it was intentional that it did not introduce any new endgame activities like Prophecy or Perandrus maybe did. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me.